This episode of the School Zone podcast is brought to you by School Spirit Vending, hassle-free year-round fundraising for your school. At School Spirit Vending, we do all the work. You cash the check.
This interview was recorded live at the 2016 Texas PTA Conference in San Antonio, Texas. Now, here's Matt.
Hey, School Zone podcast listeners, Matt coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. It is day number 2 of the Launch Texas PTA Summer Leadership Seminar, and I am here with none other than Barbara Hodge, president of Deanan Gourmet Popcorn. Barbara, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks so much, you guys, for having me.
Yeah, I apologize for being a little late. The parking lot attendant was extremely slow this morning at the Tower of the Americas, but we finally got here, so thanks for accommodating. Tell us a little bit about you and Deanan.
All right, no problem. I am the daughter of Dean and Nan Alexander, who started Deanan Gourmet Popcorn. My father was a fighter pilot in the Air Force for most of his life, and that when you retire from the Air Force after a full career of 20-some years, you're only like 45 years old. And so he explained, he said, you've got to do something. And he decided to buy his own business, which was a single popcorn shop in a mall in the San Antonio area. He wanted to retire in San Antonio, which was kind of military mecca for him. And so they loved the town, and he started his own little shop. His first year was very, very hard, working in malls back then, Christmas season, retail business, but he's a smart man. He was raised on a farm in Kansas and didn't even think of ever going to college even, so he didn't have a clue what to do, but I believe he was an engineer at heart. So he loves to invent, and he'd come up with new ways to make the processes easier, new ways to make popcorn with the best quality and the least breakage. He was actually part of a chain in those days. Caramel Corn was an old shop, and he came up with lots of ideas that were innovative for them. And eventually he owned 5 shops in the mall in the San Antonio area. As he got older, probably towards the end of the first 10 years, he decided to put his head together with a local teacher. And he sent her some popcorn in bags and said, see if these sell. If they do, pay me. If they don't, no harm done. And that's kind of the rest is history. I think very shortly after that, he began to close down and sell the mall stores and focus on the fundraising just in the San Antonio area. Then he decided to go over to Houston, and they liked it there too. And of course, as the years go by, he invented some machines that we use today. We're very proud of. A lot of big companies use some very automated machines, and we are what is called I'd call it automated batch. It's sort of partially automated and mostly batch, where you always have somebody with their hands on. It's not just push a button and let it go. And so we've got some machines that are proprietary that he invented that we use to coat our cheese corns, and we're very proud of that because we think it makes it the best. In about the early 2000s, as he was approaching his 70s, he began to think about retiring. And at the age of 72, he decided that he wanted to retire. There are 5 children, so the 5 siblings bought the business from me. I run it. I'm the second oldest daughter, and there's 5 of us. From there, we mostly focused on San Antonio, but when it came time for us to expand, we naturally decided to locate in the Dallas area where 4 of the 5 siblings live. So it was natural, and we were able to grow big. Today, we do about 5 times the volume that my father did 10 years ago. And
wow.
We're very blessed because we were able to take, Dad basically ran into all the walls for us, right? He figured out the market. He figured out how he wanted to market it. And he did these trade shows. And so much of what we do today is exactly like he did it then because he's so smart. I mean, it was great ideas. But when we moved to the Dallas area, again, there were siblings there. That's where I'm from. It's where we raised my children. My sister began to come into the business and work with me, and I don't know what I'd do without her. It's like that. Your family is the people that you trust. And my husband worked with me. We were happy to find out that we can work together. And of course, my son now runs production in our Wiley facility.
Awesome.
So it's cool. The coolest thing ever is to, you raise a kid and you know all their warts and stuff, but the coolest thing ever is to see them become an adult and competent and good at what they do. So I'm blessed in that.
Awesome.
But we've basically taken Dad's ideas and expanded them a little bit further. We offer popcorn at an extremely reasonable rate. And the way we've managed to grow is to take the packets developed by my father and maybe expand it to a couple of extra flavors, and we market with the idea that we give it to them at very inexpensive. They can get, for example, a case of 100 of those packets, and that's all they ever have to order is one case of 100, and it costs them $90 in the state of Texas. That includes their shipping to a commercial address. So there's not hidden things. They're very comfortable that everything's there. They're not going to wind up paying more or you didn't tell me that. None of that happens. We also, most places in Texas, the only one's not El Paso's a little far out there, is a one-day transit. So people can truly call us up on Monday and order their popcorn and have it on Tuesday.
I think I might want to have a case just sitting in my office when I'm doing interviews over Skype and all that to snack on.
Exactly.
I got to go back for a second. I'm a kindred spirit with your dad because I was an Air Force pilot for 9 years.
Oh, excellent.
And then, of course, him starting a family business, and I've done the same. My fundraising company is actually down the way here, School Spirit Vending. And we've been in business for about 9 years. And
excellent.
Last year, as I became a podcaster and became aware of this community and this medium for getting the word out, I was like, there is really not anybody serving this community. And there's great companies with great stories that are helping a lot of schools and a lot of people. And I was like, man, you can't get across even a portion of what you just told us on the trade show floor, because you just got to give them a brochure and say, hey, this is what it costs, this is the percentage, and all of that other stuff is lost. Yeah. And I'm fiercely loyal, and I'm really, really, believe in certain things and want to support companies, that kind of share my belief structure, right? Yeah. And so the opportunity for companies like yours to come and share what you do and why you do it and how you do it, I think has a ton of value, because you guys aren't some big conglomerate. Right. It's a family business that was probably started out of the garage or close to it, just like mine was, right? Yeah, exactly. And today, here you guys are, a Texas success story. Right. And now second generation and third generation is working in the business. So that's so cool. Yeah, it's so much fun. So it looks like you have a similar, is this family here? My sister is helping, and then my daughter. Yeah. So, but our kids have been involved since the very beginning with what we do too. And well, that's what's cool about doing it as young as you are too. I mean, I was thinking that, boy, wouldn't it have been cool if mine didn't get to grow up, because I just took over after Dad retired. But wow, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But it seems that seems neat. So, what are some of the gourmet flavors that are kind of the best sellers? Okay, that's some of that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm going to be hungry before long. So, and I know you brought some samples by. So yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, the ones that are the most popular tend to be the classics. But one of the reasons that we sample as much as we do at the trade shows, and we actually put the classics on the bottom. People know they're going to like caramel corn. We make a fantastic old-fashioned tasting caramel corn. Some of the new ones, they only use like white sugars, and it doesn't have the old-fashioned flavor. Then there's white cheddar. That's a classic. We make a fantastic white cheddar, but it's classic. People know what they're getting. So what we do is we put on top of that our newest flavor, kettle corn, just because that's new for us. Then vanilla. We import the vanilla from Mexico, and we have people that'll go, I don't do vanilla. And well, it's in there if you'd like to try it, and they do, and suddenly it's the favorite. And of course, vanilla outsells caramel sometimes because it's so popular as it's grown over the years. And then of course, the pièce de résistance, the thing that we consider our signature flavor, is our salsa and cheddar. So it's cheddar with that jalapeno kick, and of course, in Texas, you've got to have that flavor. Right.
So we like to tell people that you need to pair it. You know that Chicago corn, that's boring stuff, right? Caramel and cheese. In Texas, we have the Texas two-step. And that's where you pair the salsa and cheddar with the caramel corn. And it's, it's, so it's, let's see, we also have the flavors of dark chocolate, which it's not bitter, and that surprises people a lot.
Right.
And also we added butter, which, believe it or not, my father said, oh, don't do that. We added it because we had so much demand for, don't you just have something plain? Don't get me wrong, when people are faced with all those cool flavors, butter isn't the top seller, but there's always somebody in the crowd
Right.
that wants that just good old-fashioned flavor.
So let's get to the school side of things. Are you an event for them, or are you something that they might use in their school store, or their Friday afternoon PTA sale?
Yeah.
How are you guys typically utilized?
We are a manufacturer, and so no, we don't do the events. We actually provide the popcorn. And since we provide it at such a low rate, if they want to do things like the special, something for the highest seller, they've got lots of profit and money left over to do that. They will typically buy a case from me of 100 for $90. They will sell every packet for a minimum of $2. They get to set their selling price. I've got some people that sell packets for $3 for one, 2 for $5. But if you just do the $2, you've got an inexpensive product that even a child has the money to buy, and you're profiting $1.10 on every packet you sell. That's 55%. In this industry, that's hard to achieve. It's
Right.
a true 55%. So a lot of times they can do a pre-order program where we send them out order forms, and they take orders, and then they order the popcorn from us, and they do the distribution. But my opinion is that the most successful way to do it is to have the popcorn there, and your transaction is, here's your popcorn, they hand you the $2, and it's simple. And the cool thing about that, the reason I think that bumps up sales is because as they open it and they're walking away and tasting it, a lot of times they'll go, oh my God, and turn back around and go, give me another one of those, and you've got $2 more coming at you, So especially when you're introducing the product, I think that's the most successful way to do it. But the product is so inexpensive to them that it lends itself to a whole bunch of other things. First of all, it can be done like concession stands, because the other thing we let them do is they don't have to order a whole case of one flavor. They can take that case of 100 packets and tell me they want, 25 caramel, 25 white cheddar, 20, they can just mix it up however they want. So they get, a small group can do that. Even small, very, very small groups. It lends itself to a carnival at school. It lends itself, a lot of people here will do it for a PTA event where they might bump up the price of the PTA membership $1, and then they hand every parent that signs up a packet of popcorn, and it's covered their cost for that, and it builds a market for them, and it increases the participation. It's interesting how getting something free makes people's eyes light up.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So the fact that we can deliver so quickly, the fact that we let them mix it up, the fact that we let them order so small, makes it even a cool thing for like their teacher appreciation events. No big contracts, nothing. Sometimes schools will do that where they've got some other big fundraiser already planned, but they'll use us, like our variety bags, as a welcome back for their teachers, and we let them have it at that fundraising wholesale rate. Everybody wins. They save money. They provide a really cool gift to the teachers, and it builds a market. It's a good way for all of us.
So I've got to ask you a question, because I'm seriously contemplating a case in my office.
Yeah.
What, and I know I'm sure it varies, but calorie count wise?
Varies depending on what you put on, how you
Right.
flavor it. The least calorie rich is going to be butter, of course, the old-fashioned plain butter. The savories, I think, in general, the ones that are a combination of cheeses and popcorn are going to be the least calorie. Of course, you have to use sugar to coat with caramel corn and vanilla corn,
Right.
and even chocolate. But the cool thing, we air pop everything. We do not use oils to pop at all. So it gives it that big fluffy base, and popcorn is a whole grain. It just is. We didn't do anything special to make that
Right,
happen.
right.
We're just lucky. So you get to see this big white fluffy, not oil-soaked ball of popcorn. We only use a special mushroom corn. It's much more expensive than butterfly, but it also means that you get a bag that's not pieces of popcorn, which I can tell you when I buy popcorn in the grocery store too, and the whole bottom piece of that bag tends to be little pieces.
Right.
You don't see that in our bag.
So what are some numbers as far as volume of popcorn in a typical year you guys will do today, or volume of bags, or just some kind of gee whiz kind of stuff to give folks an idea? Have any of those off the top of your head?
Millions. Will do. No, I'm probably not. As a family-owned company, we will ship, I can tell you this, in our busy season, hundreds and hundreds of cases a day.
Wow.
So, and I know that's not huge for, I don't know, maybe some big companies,
right.
But for us, that's phenomenal to do that. We'll be quiet in the summertime because schools aren't in session, and schools are our biggest customers. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys do any work outside of schools today at all? Do you do any wholesale to businesses or retail type stuff?
Interesting that you would ask. We do.
Okay.
Sort of accidentally we do, because we had so much demand. We developed a website. People can go on and get some retail options, some excellent retail options. One example would be what we call factory seconds. Every day when the bagging machine starts up, it takes it a few bags on each flavor to get aligned properly. Well, Dad used to open those and put them back in, and we went, there might be a market for this to save a little. And so when people started walking by and trying to open the door to come in, we unlocked and said, you know what, we're here. Come on in. Yeah, you can buy this. They can buy various things from us, bulk popcorn. And we actually just launched 4 new products in May that we're planning to sell to businesses. So we don't want them to compete with the popcorn that they do as a fundraiser. So we made it a little higher end specialty product, like it's dark chocolate almond with sea salt. We took that little pairing that I told you about, and we created a Texas 2-step shareable bag. We've got cranberry walnut, and we have a pecan almond, caramel corn. So we have several other options that we're just now trying because it's so much fun to try. We get to do that.
We need to not let my wife hear this episode, because those last couple of flavors, she would...
It would be cool to try. I'll let you guys... I brought some with me. You'll have to try some of that. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, Barbara, you'd like to share with the School Zone audience at all about you guys and your program?
I think the bottom line that we like to leave most people with is it's an extremely low-risk fundraiser to try. We make it... That's how we built the business, making it easy for you to try. $90, almost anybody can try that. You're going to sell popcorn. You're going to make a profit. What are the odds that you wouldn't sell less than half that case?
Right.
So, and I think then it speaks for itself after that, I would say.
Well, and even if you don't sell that, any more than half that case, you got another 50 bags to eat.
Exactly.
Right? So
nobody. That doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, Barbara Hodge, president of Deanan Gourmet Popcorn. Our fundraiser is always in good taste. I'm looking forward to getting off here so I can do some sampling. I've been stuck here at the table for the last 2 days, so haven't got a chance to get out and do my normal, going around and trying stuff. So, but I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you're going to have a crazy day with PTA moms aplenty, but thanks for coming by for a few minutes and sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you for listening to this interview that was recorded live at the 2016 Texas PTA Conference in San Antonio, Texas. If you enjoyed today's episode, we would be honored if you would leave a 5-star rating and review and hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice.
There are a lot of kids in this world just like me, except they don't have a way to get any clean drinking water. Clean Water Kids is the kid part of kidsacrosscultures.org, where we ask school kids to be our partner in raising awareness for water projects. Clean water changes kids, which changes schools and changes families. And when we help other kids get clean water, it changes us. Clean water changes everything. Raising money for water filters and other water projects is really easy. We have schools, organizations, and other groups all over who do it. Go to cleanwaterkids.com for more information and ideas on how you can partner with us. Although we focus on schools, you don't have to be a school to help us. You can tell your school, your team, your church, your club, or troop, or whatever you're a part of about cleanwaterkids.com and see how easy it is to help. I think every kid deserves clean water to drink. Don't you? I'm Travis, and I'm a clean water kid.